Sparking Change for Harmonious Living is a TV show that inspires action. It motivates you to start a journey towards a more balanced, fulfilling life. This show explores well-being through spirituality, mental clarity, and physical health. It covers topics like mindfulness, nutrition, fitness, and spirituality, giving you practical advice to enhance your life. Tune in for a transformative adventure that ignites the change you seek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I am your host, Giovanna Charterone.
And I'm your co-host, Ahmed Bahman.
And today's show, we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence and self-awareness. I think these are two things that we know truly are with us every day. Our emotions and how we deal with our emotions are truly create our reality in every day, and how we think and how we act. So I wanted to really bring this topic into a deeper level to really become more intelligent on how to understand what emotional intelligence is and self-awareness. So Ahmed, let's just jump right into it. And there's how many levels of emotional intelligence?
Well, some say there are four kinds of
Mm-hmm,
emotional intelligence. Some say there are six. Some say there are nine.
mm-hmm.
And, everyone is basically concluding how many intelligences are there based on their experience and based on their research.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting subject to get into because it allows you to understand more about you initially. And in terms of how do you understand and analyze emotions, right? How do you respond to emotions? How do you use your emotions? How do you perceive it? How do you manage your emotions? So, the general mainstream, when they talk about emotional intelligence, it's usually an individual's way of how he can adjust his emotions, his or her emotions, in
Yeah,
relation to what is going on in their environment, right?
correct.
Because emotions are something you cannot see, but it's something that can be felt, right?
Right.
So they've labeled it as an emotional intelligence. And it's a great field to be in. It's a great field for anybody to explore more into. I
Yeah.
highly suggest that if you start to learn something about you, even if it's a 1% a day, believe me, you will come to understand even greater things about you. You know how it's like? It's like when you look at the stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're a child and you've never taken a class in astronomy,
Right.
right? You just if there's not a lot of light pollution in where you live, therefore the stars are more visible in the night sky. But when you start to and you just know them as stars, but then you start to go to science class, and then they start to teach you more about space, and
Mm-hmm.
there are different names of stars and how they're
Planets. Yeah.
interconnected. Yeah, planets, and they call it galaxy. Then there is
Mm-hmm.
the Orion's belt and as such. The more you know, the more questions you're gonna have.
Of course.
There is no level of where a person can reach to a state where he says, "I got it." The truth is, you are always forever going on in getting it, right?
Yeah.
Because the more you seek to discover, when you arrive, you'll have more questions in order to
Curiosity.
reason with
Right.
curiosity. Yes,
Curiosity. Of course.
absolutely. So, we have gone into the realm of emotions, in our modern days, which it has built itself into an industry of emotional intelligence. But there is this other side of emotional intelligence, is what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different kind of communication. I understand the emotional intelligence is from the field of psychology, but I want to take it up a notch. I want to go into the realm of spiritual psychology based
Okay.
on who
I
we
just want to
really are.
quickly say um, the emotional side of us is what gets us into action, where we feel whether the emotion is good or bad, and then we act on those emotions. But
Yes.
when we
It
do speak about the spiritual side of it,
yes. You see, your emotions is what
hmm
gets you into action, but at the same token, it sets up an attraction.
right, right,
So if you're moving in the direction towards something based on your emotions, that means you are attuned into going somewhere for something for a reason. That same thing that you're seeking is seeking you in return. Why is this? It's because mind is movement and body is a manifestation of that movement. Your body is a tool. Think of your body as a biological tuning fork that you can tune into different frequencies to match vibrationally to the frequency of the good that you desire. Hence, when there is a harmonic resonance, there is a vibrational match. Therefore, whatever you're magnetized towards is magnetized back to you.
this is part of metaphysics, and I know it's people are not don't study that on every day, but it's important to be aware of that. It does exist in it's part of the universe, right? And
Absolutely.
we we want to be able to share this information so that you can take more control, because intelligence, it's an inward thing that
Yes.
affects our body within
It's
first.
it's you are consciousness, right? You're the minute expression of the very intelligence itself. That's why you have the capacity to imagine, capacity to even be self-aware, for example.
hmm
But you're a minute expression of the whole. There is source, there's God, right? So what is emotional intelligence from a spiritual psychology standpoint is an emotional communication with God or an emotional communication with infinite intelligence. If we understand the concept of how we relate ourselves to source or to God in relation to everything outside of us, if a human being with the use of their mind can project things, then your entire world is a reflector of whatever it is that you keep projecting.
Whatever's
Now
going
we
on.
need to once you can understand it consciously, but wait till you understand it emotionally after experiencing the effect of it.
hmm
You see, how can we change an effect is the realm of effect is secondary to the realm of causes. The causes are inside of you. It starts with the intellect. You tap into your higher faculties, which is your imagination, will, perception, reason, will, and memory and intuition. All of these higher faculties are not part of your sensory factors, but it's something that's inside of you. You can access them with the use of your intellect. Now, what is the emotional communication with infinite intelligence? The whole world is emotional. Your body is emotional. Hence, when someone is has trauma, right?
Right.
Trauma is basically a memory, an emotional memory of something within the mind. It's deep, deep into the psyche of the person.
Right.
It's inside the higher side of your personality. So therefore, the body responds to your emotions. But if we are not feeling in alignment with anything, how can we change the emotions?
And let's just go back.
Change,
I was going to just say that. Let's go back a little bit when you said when there's trauma, right? And
yes.
there's that emotional that's stuck within the mind. and the body. And if it's a memory that keeps replaying itself,
Yes.
that's
Well,
where, we don't move ahead, right? We get stuck.
here's the thing. If if you want to imagine that your subconscious can hold a memory as a DVR and a security camcorder,
Hmm.
whatever is being in the lens of focus, imagine that as your perspective or a point of view, the way you look at life.
Yeah.
You know, what there's a reason why Dr. Wayne Dyer said, he said, when you change the way you look at
Look at
things,
things.
what you look at will change.
Hmm.
So therefore, if your subconscious is like a normal water glass, right? And so far, your subconscious is filled with a certain way or a certain perspective of how you look at things or how what you believe about things, right? When you start in a way to have a different perspective in order to evaluate things a bit differently so that you may change your belief, if you don't nurture this long enough, whatever is dominating into that container is going to overflow out and you'll get to experience it in your life. So when you start to put in a different idea or a different perspective in order to override what was previously there, you will still probably see the old experience is repeating itself in your life, but over time,
You're replacing
the
it.
dominating thought in your subconscious will change. Therefore, whatever will be overflowing is going to be different as well.
I mean, what comes to mind right there is like our habits.
Our habits, your mindset. Your mindset is
Mindset.
nothing but a combination of your
Hmm.
habits and beliefs. So, if we are dealing with the realm of causes intelligently and emotionally, you
Hmm.
see, why do we, why is, how can we get what we seek in order to plant it into our subconscious? Hold the image of what you desire, but feel that it's true, that it's here. Your conscious mind, you can accept and reject an idea. But if you are emotionally getting tied up with a
Well,
certain idea, whether positive or negative, whatever
right.
it is, your subconscious cannot reject it.
Hmm.
If you don't want anything repeating in your life, don't think of it. Hence, do not even allow your emotions to be tangled along with it because it activates that charge. It's like you're telling infinite intelligence, if you're thinking of something continuously and you're feeling it all the time, it's like you're telling infinite intelligence or God, give me more of this. This is
Right.
important for me. But ignorance of this knowledge does not give you enough awareness to shift your perception into the right path or into the positive side of the pendulum swing. You see,
Exactly.
as much as that we're working with the realm of causes from within, we also have to have self awareness, or in hence that we have to observe the activity that's taking place outside of us over a period of time, as long as we're maintaining internally. So the observatory or the self awareness comes in two ways or three ways. Are we observant of what we're thinking? And second, if we can't keep a tap on what we're thinking, how can we know if our thinking is off track? Well, you have your emotions, right?
Right.
You observe your emotions. If you're not feeling good, like every hour, just check within yourself. Am I feeling good right now? Or am I feeling off? Your emotions are an indicator. They can show you where have you been thinking in the past hour.
Exactly.
Make that adjustment right away.
And it's a shift that can be done when you become aware and you're saying, I have control, right? You're taking control. I
Yes.
mean, there's whether it's, if you're getting up in the morning and um, you had a bad dream and it puts you in a bad state of mind. If you don't
Yeah.
shift that, your whole day can go in a negative downward spiral, right?
Yes. It,
So
it, it
it's
can
a
it
state
can
of
go.
mind. Emotions is
Yes.
truly a state of being.
It's a state of being.
It's a
Because
state of being.
yeah, it's a sustained consecutive thought along with the sustained consecutive emotions makes up your entire state of being.
And let's just
Because
take it. I'm sorry, and I
go ahead.
just want to take it over to the state of being worried, fear, doubt. To me, those emotions kind of like paralyze us, keep us, in a safe comfort zone because we don't want to kind of step out of it.
Well, if a person is going to dwell into a victim mentality,
Yeah.
it's sad. But what are you projecting? If you're a living projector and if
Hmm.
your world is a reflector, what are you reflecting into your life? It's not a very wise decision to move in that path, right? But you are responsible for you. That's the reality of this matter.
Hmm.
Nobody, nobody can change anything for you unless you really want to change. If you're not honest with yourself and you don't want to discipline your own mind and to direct it to whatever ends you desire, then basically you're going to be subject to fall to someone else's dream or someone else's rhythm or someone else's pattern. Why be an extra in someone else's movie when you are born to be the star of your show?
Exactly. Before I learned this material, it was very easy to say, he doesn't make me happy. He makes me angry. She did,
You s-
she,
this finger, as Bob said, you need to turn it around and say, "That's me."
yeah,
And I think it was a general or someone Bob once mentioned. He said, "We have seen the enemy. It's us.
it's us.
There's nothing outside of you, relationship wise,
Hmm.
career wise, finances, health, your spiritual, you know, incision. So what I say, it all comes back to you. It all comes back to you. Are you doing the required inner work? And are you matching it with your actions in order to maintain this alignment or not?
So beautifully said, because we are in charge of our emotions. We can
Yes.
acknowledge them. I feel that there's a part of us that can understand that it's there
Yes.
and then move it into the direction that we want it to.
Yes. And
Right?
when I discussed about the realm of causes and the realm of effects, some people may say, "Well, I don't understand it." Well, you don't understand electricity either, but you know how to use it, right?
Hmm.
So take these teachings upon faith, is what I would like to say. Put them to the test and really tap into the true emotional intelligence within you. You'll be amazed of how far and how many doors can open into your life. There are certain principles, or there's around half a dozen laws, as Bob said. There's seven of them. They're Hermetic principles,
Hmm.
but they are like the foundation of all the spiritual teachings out there. If you can understand them and apply them in its rightful manner, do the things that is requested from you to do, and abstain from the things that is not allowed for you to do. You are gonna walk that holy grail. You're gonna experience a
Absolutely.
great shift, not just inside of you, but the entire world has to match the changed person that you become.
You know, I studied the emotion code, and I'm a certified emotion code practitioner. And one of the things that we study is how emotions, because it's energy in motion. It's
Yes.
energy in motion within our
Never
bodies.
stops.
Never stops, exactly. And when we do have experiences that are dramatic experience, right? There's a ball of energy that gets stuck because energy is supposed to keep moving. At some point, those emotions that get stuck, or that ball of energy that gets stuck in our body, if we don't release it, the studies indicate that it can actually manifest into the physical body,
Yes.
into an illness. Let's talk about
Because
that a little bit.
well, it stems from your consciousness,
Mm-hmm,
right? If you have a negative emotion, as or as we call it, you have a blockage, right?
mm-hmm,
That sort of emotions, and they're negative in nature. They're not expressed. They're not joyous. They're suppressed, right? So when you suppress these emotions, you bottle it up.
right.
It's one of the reasons why we have so many cancers today as well.
Mm-hmm,
Is a lot of suppressed emotions. They're not releasing. So when you suppress your emotions, it causes you to end up in a state called anxiety, right? Anxiety is an emotion that has been suppressed for a long period of time. And if anxiety has not been addressed in order for it to readjust and rectify, then from anxiety it can only be even further suppressed. Therefore, you're going to end up in depression.
yes.
And
Yes.
depression is something, it's a form of chronic anxiety. And with
Mm-hmm,
depression, you get disease, and disease is after disease, you get disintegration.
yeah.
What we need is understanding and awareness. One, most people that remain stuck is because they don't realize that it's a choice. I choose not to be sad. I choose to be a good finder instead of a fault finder. I choose to respond instead of reacting. I choose to laugh instead of being angry. It's a choice, regardless of the situation
Yes.
outside of you. If you're in control of your thoughts and you are aware, see again, beings having self awareness, right? So if
Mm-hmm,
you're aware that you have a choice, I had a friend. I had a friend who I used to work with, and he would react and he would start to curse at every little thing. One day I saw him and he was completely, uh, in rage. And I said, relax. I went to him very calmly. I said, relax. And he said, what do you mean? I said, remember that you have a choice not to get angry. He changed 180 degrees. It's because he never thought in his life that he had a choice not to get angry.
We're so fast on
How?
reacting all the time.
Yes, yes. You see, the difference between react and respond is when you react to something, you do not take a moment to think. Respond is when you give it's that very short time frame,
Yes.
that little open window that you have before you say something. Take 5 seconds, take 10 seconds. Think about it. Is it worth it? Is it going to change anything? It is what it is. Accept it.
And
But
you can't undo. You can undo.
you can't undo.
Right.
It happened, right? Accept it. It's done. But harvest the good from it. You never lose anything from life, but you either win or you learn. So
love
harvest the
that.
good, harvest the good from it. And if it's not keeping you in a good emotional state, forgive. Let go of completely. Let it go. You want to remain happy, happy and healthy all the time. You want to think good of others because that's what you're going to attract more into your life. Hence, be aware of your thinking and your feelings in order to intelligently, emotionally communicate with infinite intelligence to bring about more of whatever it is that you're putting out as an emotion.
That's all about being in control, right? It's all about you being in
Yes.
control, because when you're responding, you're not working on autopilot. When you're reacting, it's an automatic.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
falling and you put your arms out and you're catching yourself from falling. But in this case here, you're really thinking of what to say and maybe not even say anything in order to be in charge.
No.
Let's
Any
take it to
emotion
an
you're
ending.
holding on is what you're gonna get more of.
Yeah. It's just so important to be, in control of your emotions,
Yes.
because they truly drive the results in your life. And final note as we bring it to an ending.
You always have a choice
Yeah,
that you can change your emotions by changing your thoughts
because you're in control.
because you're in control. You're always in control.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you, Ahmed. I think this is a beautiful show to really help people understand that they can change what they see in their life when they're in control, right?
Absolutely.
Take back control. So, everyone, thank you for joining us on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. Until next time, we will see you next week.
See you all next week. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living.